It's live.
Okay, let's start. Hello, everybody who joins now, who joins later. Hello, and let me introduce ourselves. Welcome to the podcast of Lily, Tilly, and the universe. And today we are going, uh, you know what? We will cut this later.
Okay.
I just remembered that I need to bring. Wait, let people come in, join in a little bit time,
Mm-hmm.
so we don't. And how
Cut.
they do? Yeah, how they do in the movies? Like cut, cut.
Yeah. Nice.
Another trial. And
Uh,
hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast of Lily, Tilly, and the universe. And today is our first episode on a very beautiful topic about creating the new earth, our vision for that. And today we are actually two hosts of this podcast, two friends, Lily, Tilly, and our third friend, the universe.
nice.
So, yeah, let me introduce myself, and then I will give um a word, a space, a pleasure to introduce Matilda herself. So, I'm Ligita or Lily, and I find myself to be an artist who loves creating, who loves expressing, who loves inner child expression. And also, my path is spiritual authenticity coaching, helping, assisting people to discover their spiritual aspect of self, and in that way to find a connection to all that is and to find meaning and purpose in life. And now, Matilda, why are you Tilly? And introduce yourself.
Well, hello. I'm officially Matilda, but almost everyone always calls me Tilly. Yeah, it just happened to be so. For some reason, people always feel that vibe, and I like the name. Um, I live in the Netherlands and or planet Earth, and I always love diving into the nature of reality and talking about spirituality, and mostly also with singing mantras or meditating together with people. And yeah, I think I find it a bit hard to describe myself in a sentence, but wisdom lover. So maybe that's a nice word. Yeah.
And that's how I see, because you love wisdom, you love sharing it. And that's why uh, I see you, at least I see you as a spiritual mentor based on our conversations in my terrace. And now let's
Mhm.
go for very short into um, introducing and sharing how we met, because we know each other for how long? We know for maybe 10 days, not more, right?
Yes. So something like that. 2 weeks. It's very short indeed.
Less. It's one
Yeah.
week and one day after the
Whoa.
last festival. Yeah, not much.
That's. It feels so long for some reason, but yeah. Okay. Cool. Funny.
Yes, so the story of how we met very shortly is Matilda came from Netherlands into Croatia into one festival to volunteer, and then by better you tell your story, and then I will tell my part.
Okay. Great. Yeah, I was indeed helping at a place somewhere in Croatia, the yoga school. Then I met two people who asked, "Hey, you want to help at our festival?" And I thought yes, because spontaneous actions are always a good idea. I had no idea where I was going. but I ended up in the hills somewhere of Croatia without internet, and but a lot of beautiful people, music, and food. And there I met Lily, and we had great conversations endlessly. And I felt really energized always after we talked. And it's like, yeah, it's hard to explain, but like a lot of expansion happened or insights. And yeah, then we had a connection, I think, how I
Yes,
experienced it.
exactly. And I also was volunteering there, and for me, actually, I think I never told you, but um, everything happened very spontaneously also. So this is the topic of a sign of flow. So
Mm-hmm.
uh, I saw I got a link to fill the form, and then I filled and nobody answered me, so I gave up on the idea to go for volunteering. And then the moment I gave up on that wish, the wish came true, and I packed
Beautiful.
everything. Yeah, and when you showed up there, I also felt instant connection, and like you somehow activated me to start sharing everything that I know, everything that I experienced. And as more you were open to receive, as more I felt like I want to pour into you. And I felt energized. And I'm glad to hear that you were not, that you also felt energized, because at times I thought maybe I told too much, but it looks like
No.
no.
Mhm. No, I could
And
listen
that
endlessly. A lot of wisdom. So.
Yeah, and this is how our idea born of Lilith and the universe, because of that love and excitement of our inner child playing together,
Yeah.
interacting together. This idea came that why not to share all of that wisdom, all of that curious childlike wonder with others, and involve them into our discussion as well, right? So I'm glad that it happened, and today the topic is exactly connected with the name of the festival that we were. The festival sounded like New Dawn, Nova Zora in Croatian, and that's why today we want to share with you. Actually, we will discuss with Tilly about what is our personal vision about New Earth, what it means individually for each one of us. And so you can also raise that question, what is New Earth for you specifically? Because everybody has a different vision. So, Tilly,
Yeah. Good question.
would you like to start with your vision of you know what?
Yeah.
We forgot something.
Oh yeah, I remember now too. Yes.
Before we continue, um, let's set up the energy and the mood, the tone with uh, Tilly's beautiful voice, because she's a wonderful singer. She sings and songs and mantras, and I listened to a few of her songs, and really my body gets chills over my whole body. So I would love
Thanks.
that everybody would hear that as well.
Nice to hear. It's I wanted to sing the Ho'oponopono mantra. I don't know if you know it. It's oh yeah, you know it. It's about asking forgiveness. It's from Hawaii. A lot of mantras are from India, but you can ask forgiveness to yourself for something that happened in the world, maybe. Let me get my guitar. Okay. Oh, it's a sound still. Yeah. So you sing 4 times. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I love you and I thank you. And then 16 times Ho'oponopono. That will guide. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I love you and I thank you. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I love you and I thank you. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I love you and I thank you. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I love you and I thank you. Ho'oponopono, ho'oponoponopono, ho'oponopono, ho'oponoponopono, ho'oponopono. Ho'oponoponopono, ho'oponopono, ho'oponoponopono, ho'oponopono. Ho'oponoponopono, ho'oponopono, ho'oponoponopono, ho'oponopono, ho'oponoponopono, ho'oponopono, ho'oponoponopono. That's it.
Beautiful. And I love the
Thanks.
rhythm of this version because I was listening some other versions, but this like also very, very affecting, let's say like that, touching.
Cool. Yeah, it's quite uplifting, or yeah, maybe energizing. And if you sing it with a group, very powerful.
Yeah, beautiful. Well,
Thanks.
as we set the tone for the rest, let's dive deeper into the vision of the new earth. So, Matilda, Tilly, what is your vision? How do you see the new earth? What does it mean for you?
F- it means for me that the world is realizing humanity, realizing again they are one with everything, with the source, with God, whatever name you want to give it, the universe, the creator, and therefore start to live according to that, more harmonious, and maybe in communities, in with nature. Um, so if yeah, I see just a new world where there's equality and love and a lot of creativity. Um, and why it is happening, yeah, I don't know. People say the Earth is shifting into a new vibration that's too big for me to grasp. But I see on the experiential level, people are waking up to their true essence. Um, yeah, that's it. Mostly becoming aware of your thoughts.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You touched one very important word that, for me personally, it represents the new earth. It's authenticity.
Mm, I like that word. Yeah.
Yeah, and at least when I observe, when I sense, I'm aware that we are on the wave of authenticity. People are awakening to the fact of living in the matrix, that the movie
Mm,
Matrix is real, and
yeah.
people are waking up to the fact that they were subscribing to the beliefs of somebody else, to the thoughts of somebody else, and they start raising the question and really going deep into their soul of, who am I? What
Mm,
is my purpose? Why am I here? What should I supposed to be doing?
yeah.
Do I like this, or I like because somebody told me to like? I mean, it's a very beautiful process, and that's what new earth for me is. New earth that we are birthing now is that earth that is based on the heart, is based on the feeling, is based on the truth of the soul rather than the lies of the mind. And
Powerful words. Yeah.
yeah, the truth of the soul rather than the lies of the mind. And this is what connection is for me. Like, if I could describe in a few words, the new earth for me is spirituality, authenticity, connection. like mantra, at least for me.
Nice.
And that's how I envision the new earth. And also, I would like to go now into a little bit to back it up with the Bible, what is written in the Bible. I have my probably my most favorite part verses from the Bible, and I will quote now. But when Jesus saw it, he was indignant and said to them, "Let the children come to me. Do not hinder them, for to such belongs the kingdom of God. Truly I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter kingdom of heaven." And he took them in his arms and blessed them, laying his hands on them. It's a part from Mark 10, 14, 16 to Matthew 9, 18, and 3, in case somebody
Okay.
wants to check if it's legit.
So
So what
if
it
I'm,
says,
yeah,
tell me, what did you hear in that verse? So what does it tell you about the new earth?
well, the most part that stood out for me was the childlike part. You have to become again more empty or pure as a child. At least that's how I understood one of the sentences. Um, yeah, but I'm curious what that means more. What how you interpret it.
Literally, I interpreted the same as you. For me, let's define what a child is. Give me words, whatever come to you, associations. Like, what child is for you? What does it mean?
Playfulness, openness, uh, genuine, but mostly playfulness is the word that comes up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me also, playfulness, imagination,
Mm,
very important. Kids are so
cool.
imaginative, and also open heart. A child doesn't know such thing as limitations because their heart is not closed. They are not operating on the mind. That's why their heart is
Mm,
open. As younger child is,
definitely.
as more it is like that. And that's why for me New Earth is also based on people imagining from their heart, people creating from their heart. So everything that we created so far until now, eh, okay, not everything, but a lot of things are crumbling down because those are not
Mm,
sustainable. Because those were
yes.
created from the mind and not from the heart. So I would love to ask you, Tilly. Um, I need to get used to call you Tilly.
Matilda's good
uh,
too. Good too.
yeah, Lily, Tilly, Lily, Tilly. I think when I call you Tilly, I feel like I'm calling myself
Mm,
almost.
mhm. Yes, it's
Yeah,
very similar.
but
True.
okay. So the question would be, mm, and now I lost the track.
It was about building something with the mind or building a society, maybe, or something from the heart. Maybe it was a question about that.
Hmm. Yeah, it was leading somewhere that children are creating with an open. That New Earth. I envision that it's based on the imagination
Hmm.
that we create from the heart, and we feel what we create. And the question, I don't remember. It was something about
Maybe it
creativity.
comes up later.
Yeah, if it's meant, it will come back definitely. Um, what else? What else bubbles up for you about New Earth?
Um, Well, I see it a lot. A lot is changing already, despite the fact that when people watch the news, they might judge it as if it's a horrible planet. I actually only see beautiful projects like the festival where we met, people living more sustainable, um, traveling to help as a volunteer somewhere in a garden. It's just, I think that's also for me a sign. It's like a new earth is coming, and so many younger people are already pretty self-aware or busy with working on themselves. Um, yeah, I don't know. I just see that
Hmm.
as happenings that already show a very positive change, even though sometimes it may not seem that way on this planet.
And you touched so good on the topic of working on themselves. And
Mm.
from here, we can expand so far. By the way, I love the sound of those birds.
I was already curious if it's too loud because I have it really warm. I open my window, but if
It's
it's not too
okay. It's
distracting,
okay.
okay, okay,
A-
great. Yeah,
Actually, those are the signs. They are participating in our conversation, actually,
nice.
saying
I love
yes.
that. Yes.
So
Yeah.
actually, they confirmed about that powerful insight of that people are working on themselves. And
Mm.
as I notice that more and more, that's why coaching industry and not self-help, but coaching, therapy, psychology industries grew so fast, so rapidly, because their demand became very big, because
Hmm.
people started feeling that, oh my God, I need to work on myself. I can't live in that ignorance anymore. I need to face my shadow. I need to face my traumas and
Yeah.
work through those, because everything that I'm trying to create from those doesn't work.
Yeah.
And that's why uh, New Earth. That's why I have that feeling, the same as you, Matilda, that uh, the New Earth is coming, and it's not even that it's coming. We are in the process of creating it, and it's
Exactly.
getting bigger and bigger. And it is the result of people doing the work.
Hmm. Yeah. Beautiful.
And
In Yeah, I want to add to this. I think sometimes people underestimate the value of working on yourself, because then there are these thoughts like, "Oh, I'm part of 8 billion. Of how important is it to take care of myself?" But you are a reflection of this life, or you are life itself. So indeed, healing a part of you as an individual is already also healing the whole world. I feel. Um, so yeah, self working on yourself is a very big part of this.
yeah, and we started from Ho'oponopono, which is literally focused on forgiving yourself, not anybody
Mm.
else but yourself.
Yes. Yep.
Thanking for yourself. And when we make peace with ourselves, with our shadow, with our wounds, when it doesn't bother us anymore, we are free to go. We are free to create and take action.
Mm.
And personally, me lately, I feel how my divine masculine is rising, meaning the energy of divine masculine that we all have, like divine feminine and divine masculine. And I believe people who are watching this, they are familiar with that because they are alike. Um,
Mm.
so
Could
when
you? Oh, I don't want to interrupt, but
tell me.
okay, if you could give a short example, one, what is a sign of the masculine that is rising, and what is more a feminine trait, divine feminine
Mm.
trait?
Divine feminine for me is like a high priestess. It's like the temple of wisdom. It's like a feminine who enters the invisible, who have access to intangible information, who connects with God, with all that is, with the ultimate one. And she also, as high as she can go to the ethers, also as deep as she can go into the shadows, into the darkness. And that's why it's so powerful, because who is doing the shadow work is the feminine. She is bringing all those emotions up and facing
Okay.
those, and removing the shadows from the emotional experience, and seeing the emotions in different light than we are used to judge and suppress and push away. So that acceptance of all that is all the emotional part, and the spiritual part is the feminine, divine feminine. Divine masculine is the world, action in the world, its practicality, physicality, rationality. Um,
Okay.
Literally, he is embodiment of the wisdom that divine feminine brings.
Okay. Powerful. So taking action, doing something is already the masculine part
Yeah,
more. And okay,
yeah.
very clear.
Because I can say from my experience, for many years, I was sitting only in feminine energy. I was
Mm.
in those etheric worlds. It was my comfort zone, where I really found a lot of wisdom, and I was communicating with certain entities and with Jesus and with the angels, and eventually it became toxic because my material world started crumbling down.
Mm.
And now, lately, when some topics about self-confidence started uh, materializing in my life, my masculine started waking up and taking actions towards what uh, what needs to be done. Yes,
Right.
Samir, welcome. I see you. So yeah, that's what is the difference between divine feminine, divine masculine, and why it is so much important actually to have the embodiment of both of those. Because if we sit only in one, for example, another scenario of unhealthy, of mismanagement of the energies, let's say like that, because divine feminine, divine masculine is are just two different energies that they need to work together, but they when they work separately, or one is shut down and another is dominant. Oh, and we will go to the new earth based on this. When, for example, if the masculine energy is more dominant, then a person will create the world that we are now leaving behind, because our old earth is
Mm-hmm.
created upon the masculine. Because divine masculine is when he's cooperating with the divine feminine, when he's taking action that is coming from the soul, from the heart. When it's coming without the feminine, it means coming only from the mind and not from the soul, then
Mm-hmm.
we are creating madness, chaos, all of the jazz.
Mm-hmm.
Does it resonate with you?
Yes, for sure. Yeah, I never really dove too much into the difference, so it's a very clear explanation. Yeah.
And I don't know if if you have ever had the experience of when you take, for example, some kind of endeavor or idea or project, or you just feel inspired, you want to do, and then I will speak from my experience. What very often happened, I have an idea, I'm inspired, all of that inspiration is coming from the source, from the divinity, I'm feeling connected in the flow, and then I overwork myself I don't give myself breaks. The, then when I don't allow myself to play in between, then I
Mm.
fall into that masculine side that okay, only action and no fun, no
Yeah,
nurturing
yeah,
emotions, right?
yeah.
So that's why so many
That's clear.
entrepreneurs, yeah, that's why so many entrepreneurs they burn themselves out because they mismanage their energies. And that's the world is created, the old world, on create more tangible, more practical, more material, more superficial, when the emotions are like, shut up, feminine. You don't have space here. Don't talk, don't express, because emotions is not
Yeah.
tangible information, right?
Beautiful explanation. Yeah, I think it's very clear now. I sometimes have this when I put a goal for myself. Then first it comes from fun because I like this, so I make it now into some as a goal. But then the moment I make a planning, I actually lose completely the playfulness because then it becomes work. So I have to remind myself always, indeed, to see the cheesy quote, but the journey as the goal and to have fun because that's what it's all about. So maybe now I have a clear example of how masculine energy also takes over sometimes in my work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a very normal process. That's something that is very new for most of people, but that's something that awareness is rising in terms of this topic. I would like to ask people who are watching, Amir, if you're still here, and somebody else, feel free to comment, to come to discuss with us what the new earth is for you. What first comes to your mind, and how do you envision, like, if you don't like this earth that you live now, how would you love it to look like? But more important, how would you like it to feel like? Because that's how the creation of the new earth, of the heaven on earth, actually happens, when we
Beautiful.
envision from our heart. Mm. And by the way,
Yeah.
I would like to, or actually, I will not find now quotes, but I will do my best to quote as I remember. When it comes to the creation of the new earth, um, my second favorite part from the Bible is Genesis, how the world was created. And I find, actually, I think, yeah, I told you this Tilly already, but let's share it with more people about how the world was created. And there is literally the principles of manifestation, how energies, how how you need to manipulate the energies in order to get the best result. So let me quote now a little bit, as much as I remember. There is written that first was Word, and Word was with God, and the Word was God. And then God created land, created night, created like half of the world God created, and then he suddenly felt shitty. He fallen into the void. Everything that he created felt like a void. Literally, God fallen into depression because he didn't like what he created. And that was the moment. Then was a turning point because he started feeling that, oh shit, it doesn't feel good. And then the feminine came into play, the heart, while the masculine is the mind, because the word was God. And what is behind the word? In order to speak the word, you need to think. So the thought is God. So, And when the thought was spoken into existence, that what was created. But God forgot about his heart. And that's why he created a dark side contrast of the light side. So what is negative, what is bad, what is evil is also a creation of God. But then from that darkness, from that void, he was like, okay, so let's envision what would feel good. That was the moment when he remembered that, oh, I do have heart. Let's come here, feminine. And in another part is also written that uh, God created first human beings like Adam and Eve. First, he created Adam, the masculine, and from his rib, he created the feminine. So it means next to his heart was the feminine. And of course, it's all telling the same story that the way we create must come from the heart, from envisioning with our feelings what we would love to experience. And that's so important what we are speaking out into the world, because I don't, did you notice, Tilly, that what you spoke, that you manifested? Do you have such examples in your life?
Of manifestations in general, or what I spoke, or what I wrote
What
down.
you spoke, what you spoke, let's say the power of the word, of the spoken word.
Yeah, I think I worked and work still a lot with affirmations. Um, so that's sort of speaking out to yourself already the state of being or the material thing that you want to have or embody, and then it comes. Um, yeah, then it manifests itself. I had have experiences with that, and when it's indeed just thought or a hope, it doesn't manifest, but indeed you have to really embody it right now and feel it. And but that's sometimes difficult when it's not in your physical senses visible. But I agree, feeling is the key to all manifestation. Yeah.
But you know
And that
what? Even when you don't feel, you still manifest. But the question then, what are you manifesting when you don't include the feeling, right?
yeah, that's a good question actually. But don't you always include the feeling? As in, aren't we always feeling something? I'm confused now. So you state now that you can manifest something without feeling a
Because the
feeling, an
mind
emotion.
doesn't feel,
Hmm.
and God created half of the world without
True. Okay, without
the
the heart. Yeah,
heart,
that's true. Okay,
and
so that's
He
interesting.
created.
I never thought of that actually. So okay, so the half of the world is created just by the mind. So it is possible. And then, what is your answer to this? What do
I
you
will
get?
give you an example
Yeah.
of
Yes.
how it looks when we manifest without our heart. Because
Yeah.
the heart is very specific. The heart knows how it wants to feel, and then the mind helps to give the specific conditions that cultivates that feeling, let's say like that. So the example is that one woman, she was so fed up in her work, she was so tired, overworking, underpaid, and she was like, God, please, I need a break, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah. Be
And
careful
God
what you wish
answered
for.
yes. She got a break. She broke
Okay.
her leg. and
Yeah,
she took
yeah. I
a
was gonna
time out.
say, okay,
So
be careful what you wish for. They say, right? For this reason. Yeah.
I would say not that much be careful because it has the sense of fear. I would say be specific.
Conscious. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's also beautiful. Yeah. Be specific. So I
And
want to break in a chill way with a healthy body, something like that. Not just I want to break. Uh,
she told, because break, and also we are now expanding the topic. Every word has a vibration,
mm,
and eventually, I already a few years ago I started noticing how sensitive I became to the words that I speak and that other people speak, because there's such a huge difference in vibration that a break is pretty, it feels pretty dense, pretty heavy.
mm.
In in her situation, if I were her, I would say I want the holidays, because she was
Yes.
focusing on the negative, that work, let's say, pisses me off. I'm fed up with that work, so I need a break. So her focus was energetically on the negatives, because
Mm.
her internal vibration was negative.
Makes sense. That's a very clear example. Yeah. So,
And yeah,
how?
and I how I see the old earth, I think we got so much of unspecified manifestations that we created such a huge void, that because of that, thanks to that void and that shitty manifestations of the mind, that now people started coming back to their heart and envisioning the new earth collectively.
Beautiful. Yeah, I think also a lot of manifestations came from separation, which can also be related to the mind, and oneness to the heart. So now it's changing into more manifestations for the whole. Yeah, once you realize you're a
Really?
part of this. Yeah.
I would like to ask why. I'm curious now, because I heard your belief that this connection you associate with the mind, while oneness and connection you associate with the heart. Why is so?
More because, okay, maybe I was a bit confused also with thought. I see thought as the reason for to divide the world into you and me. Thought says there is an other. The mind says there is an other, but it's all connected. So therefore, I felt that if you come more from the thinking mind, you will perceive the world as separated and therefore manifest things from a more separated perspective. But maybe
Mhm.
I'm not exactly sure then how to define the mind, because of course creating from your mind's eye and heart together is also very beautiful. It's not that I want to say that the mind is negative, but yeah, I hope this was a bit
So
clear.
then another question for you. I'm curious. I would like to hear. Um, Now use that your sacred creativity, a childlike imagination, and imagine and tell me whether or not, like, is it possible to have the heart and mind united and create the new earth from the unity of those both and how they would work then.
I would say yes, but that's because I do feel that conscious manifesting and visualizing comes from the mind. But if it's fueled by the heart, then it has like a positive impact. And if it's, let's say, coming from a feeling of lack or fear, it's a more negative impact. So I do feel they can work. They have to work together already. Uh, at least how I experience it is that I do manifest from the mind and the heart. You can channel it with the heart, um, or fuel it with the heart. But I never really thought of it. If you can manifest straight from the heart, it's all such
Mm,
fake. I have to admit, it's all fake feelings. Like I don't even know how to define the mind, so it's hard to talk about. Or do
it's
you?
okay. Uh, then I will share with you, with others, how I see.
Yeah,
Oh, now
I'm
I'm more
curious.
visible.
Nice.
So, there is that quote. I think you found that after all when we were discussing in my terrace, that the way how I see the heart and the mind united and creating the new earth from that unity, and for me, actually, it's inevitable. It's something that if we want to have new earth that is based on love and everything that we shared, how we envision, those two must work together, because the mind is the masculine, the heart is the feminine.
Oh
Both
yeah.
need one another to coexist. It's yin and yang. It's that genesis how God created from both. So the way I see how they should cooperate is the heart creates, how to say, that the mind serves to the heart. Do you
Yeah.
remember that quote? Who told that, um, that the heart is a leader and the mind is a servant? Something like that.
I don't know it.
Maybe it's not you who told me, but somebody. Yeah. So you know what? I will find that quote now. And what bubbles up for you when you heard this mm, vision, let's say, of how those both can work together?
Well, maybe it is what you discussed earlier, or what we discussed earlier. When working towards a goal, you need the creativity, but you also need the structure and taking action. But you don't need to lose yourself too much in the action and stay playful. So, in creating a new world, it sounds great to have a balance of both to actually manifest that reality. Um, yeah, that's all I have to say.
Yeah. Um, I found the quote,
Okay,
and it says that your mind is a good servant, but a deceitful master.
deceitful master. Okay, I don't know what
Hmm.
deceitful is, to be honest. Let me check.
Deceitful, deceives, the one who deceives.
Oh yeah, okay. Misleading. Yeah.
Hmm.
So can you repeat it one more time? The mind is a
Your
good servant.
mind is a good servant, but a deceitful
Mm.
master.
Oh yeah. Powerful. Yes.
So it's literally what we were talking now, that if the mind takes over and leads, then when deception happens, then
Mm.
when we create the void. But if the mind serves and the heart leads, what the heart is the soul actually, then we create heaven on earth. I love that
Beautiful.
quote.
Yes, it's very, very powerful. So we need people to open their hearts more. That's the conclusion. Or to live from the heart. Uh,
You can't live from the heart if you don't have it open,
mm.
right? And how do you think what makes people to close their heart?
Maybe experience of rejection, fear, therefore afraid to connect with others, living more from the ego self, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. You?
Yeah, you pointed it very well, like a fear of abandonment, and this
Mm.
is, I would say, the core wound of the whole humanity.
Yeah. So it's so weird
And
sometimes
now,
to realize we all suffer from this same sort of, you can call it trauma, or at least fear of abandonment, because coming from the whole into the world as a separate entity is always some uh yeah, don't know how to explain, leaves a feeling of missing something or being alone.
mm, and that's where separation comes, when that feeling that we are alone, right?
Hmm.
And that feeling of that I'm alone, and I'm separate, that I don't belong, comes from the disconnection from the source, from the spiritual aspect of self, from the invisible world.
Yeah.
But when we are connected to that invisible information, invisible, call it as you want, the universe, God, source, Jesus, Buddha, doesn't matter. But as long as we feel connected to that, abandonment and rejection loses its power. The fear of that loses its power. Because
Yeah. Great.
also that authentic confidence comes from the spiritual, and that's why I shifted recently from authenticity coaching into spiritual authenticity coaching, because it's deeper than superficial authenticity. It's that spiritual connection that helps a person to feel. It's not even helping a person to feel, that naturally a person feels confident when they know
Mhm.
where they come from and what their value is.
Yeah, powerful. I think if you come from that space, you are so empowered that there is also no need to get the confirmation from someone else of affirmation. So therefore, you just express your pure, eccentric truth. Um, yeah, it's hard to put in words, but sometimes I have. In general, I'm still daily coming a bit from the feeling of being Matilda, a separate entity. But sometimes I'm so overwhelmed by the oneness and so full of bliss. From that space, I don't need anything, anyone. I don't need to go anywhere. It's just complete. And if you express yourself from that completeness, it's, I think, what you said, maybe spiritual authenticity. Just,
Yeah.
yeah. But I feel we're all,
So
I again love talking with you, but it's maybe a bit off topic. I will stop with this.
why? No, it's very on
Oh,
topic. Actually, what
okay.
I love listening to you, because now I'm feeling what you're saying, because what you're speaking from your heart,
Mm,
and that's very powerful.
nice. Nice to hear.
And that state of bliss that you are talking about is exactly you are in your highest high priestess, divine feminine mode. And
Yeah, it's an amazing feeling. Yeah.
can you tell more about that feeling? How does it feel? Because this is how you create new earth first, starting from the feeling. So how does it look like? How does it feel? How would you describe?
Well, first of all, of course, I think people and you will understand it's hard to put in words, but if I would put it in words, it's like everything is perfect, first of all, where it is,
Tilly, we lost you. Interesting. Why? The moment I triggered you to activate that feeling, you got lost in matrix. Some blockages for actually real time creation of the new earth. Tilly, are you with us? Is it my internet or yours? Yes, Emir. Exactly. And you know what? Till Matilda comes back, I want to share what happened last time because our first trial to do podcast was last Monday. And if people saw what was happening at the backstage, they wouldn't believe. We felt that some invisible forces tried to do everything just to block our coming out with this podcast. Matilda's computer twice just shut down. The moment we had to start, it just shut down. It never happened to her. Then all the technological issues, suddenly things don't work. And we spent 1 hour to resolve everything, and still the internet connection had such long gap of timing that it was not even funny. Like we couldn't communicate well. And every time when something powerful was about to happen, shut off. So that's what I would like to expand also. Let me invite you. Tilly, you
yes.
disappeared.
What a timing to disappear again.
And I
Okay.
was talking now because what Emir wrote that he thought exactly the same what I vocalized, that it was strange that you disappeared the moment when you were about to share this beautiful energy of your heart and create the new earth. Suddenly you're off,
Yeah.
like last time, right?
Uh-huh. It's indeed very strange, yeah. I don't experience stuff like this often, but
Yeah,
that
but
timing. But we continue and don't let it affect
y-
us.
yeah, and actually, this will be the next question about the contrast part of life and why it's important. But now I would like to uh, come back to the question. And the
Yes.
question was, please remind me.
How I would describe in words this intense feeling of oneness and bliss.
Yes.
Um, so it yeah, it's hard to put in words. That's what I said. And then I mentioned I think that everything becomes so magical. So literally everything is pure magic. It feels perfect. I am at the right place where I am. You are at the right place where you are. Like we're all fulfilling our perfect mission. Um, yeah, it's so hard to put in words, but it's like pure ecstasy. So sometimes it's even almost a bit, I won't say scary, but so overwhelming that I feel like, oh, I want to become a bit more in the physical body and on Earth again. Uh, yeah. What else can I add? I
Mm,
once experienced on the when my parents were on a holiday and I lived with them, and I sat on the couch almost for 4 days. I mean, I did sleep also and ate a little bit, but I was just sitting there all the time, so high, and I thought to myself, I completed everything in life. There's nothing I need. Um, yeah. So it's really intense. But then, of course, now I'm back in the more um, physical experience. Let's say.
mm-hmm. And just a disclaimer for people who are watching. Were you on drugs or no?
No, no, no. It was pure sober. No, it's good that you asked, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it was sober ecstasy. Yeah.
And that's the pure example that it's possible to reach that without any external additional
Yes.
stimulus, right?
Yes. Yes. 100%. I mean, it takes sometimes a bit more time and dedication, but it's definitely possible. Yeah.
Mm. And what about the contrast then? Let's touch a little bit about this because some people might think that you two are just in your own bubble and you just see love and light and everything what is happening real in life you just are ignorant to that.
Yeah.
And
I
I
heard that a
I
lot too.
and I was a speaker of that in the past too, and to some degree it has validity that it's not okay to ignore what is happening because like yes children are being trafficked, yes crime exists, yes people kill one another and wars are happening. So then my question would be, what is your relation to that negative contrast of life? Let's say not negative, unpleasant contrast of life.
Yeah, very good question. Well, I do partly close my eyes for it and partly don't. Like you say, I will not deny it, but I will also not watch the news or look up videos that show negativity because I feel okay, it's happening. I'm very grateful that I live in a beautiful country, safe, and that awareness, and sometimes I make myself aware of that, is important. And it's there, it's part of life, apparently. Um, and yeah, I just don't know why. I stay humble to it. There must be maybe a reason that the darkness is also happening. But I feel that it's not useful at all to focus your attention on it. So there's nothing wrong, in my opinion, in staying in a pink bubble. Yeah. Create the world from your small surrounding and love. There's nothing else you can do, I guess.
I agree, and I would add additionally because I agree that being in that low vibe of suffer, anger, hate, and sadness, you're not able to create something. Yes, you can use those emotions as inspiration to create something better, to create a solution. But if you indulge into that and if those emotions start overwhelming you, you become a part of the problem and not the solution.
Beautiful. Yeah.
So Actually, that's where all the creation and the expansion of the universe comes from. For example, I love that a guy who invented a remote control for the TV, right? That guy was such a lazy man, right?
Yeah.
And that expansion creation came from the discomfort.
I yeah, I think a lot of inventions are come from lazy people. Yeah, that's great creativity. Mm.
It's maybe not that lazy, but I wouldn't say lazy. Those people are very creative. Actually, they want. That's upon those people want. They are focusing on well-being, on how to better their being.
Yeah, sounds good.
So they
Smoothing
are,
their life.
yeah, they're using their discomfort to make it better. So the
Hmm.
same with all of that contrast that feels heavy and those crimes, everything. Yes, they exist. We shouldn't supposed to ignore the fact that it does exist. The question is, what are we going to do about it? To soak in it? To complain about it? To judge? To point the fingers?
Yeah,
Or take a torch and lead to new ideas, inspirations, how to help, how to improve, how to bring even those people from that soaking into back into love.
yeah.
Because from love, then all the creativity also divine guidance comes from what to do.
I like that, especially the metaphor of the torch to guide people with the light.
Yeah, let's see. Emir, are you still with us? If some questions bubble up for you or some reflections that you would like to share, feel free. We can expand on that as well. And by the way, thank you for coming, for joining. It
Yes.
really feels good, right? When you have conversation, discussion, and somebody joins, jumps in, and
We have
let's
one
talk.
supporter. That's nice.
Yeah, our circle expands because when we
Mm.
were discussing with you, having those deep dive conversations in my terrace, it was around round table. We were sitting at
Uh-huh.
the table. So I imagine this our podcast as the round table where
Hmm.
people, the community joins to sit and to really discuss about the topics that matter.
I like it. That's so cool to imagine. I hope that more people will join. Yes.
Yeah. But you know what? It's about us sharing, us talking, because either way, we love talking. We love diving deep and discussing with you personally. And that's what I
Mm.
love doing with you.
Yes.
That
Likewise. Again, I already felt that even though it's just together, it's already powerful and contributing to a new world. Yeah.
exactly, and that's what we were talking when it comes to the Bible, that the word has power. You
Hmm.
speak into existence. So instead of choosing to speak random stuff with some other people that we don't resonate with, we speak with those that we choose, that our heart connects
Yeah.
to, and then we speak life into existence, and life that feels good actually.
Great. So, is this a complete feeling for you, or did you still
Mm,
have a question?
very good question. I feel that it is. No thoughts are arising now. I just had one thought that um that definitely we will expand, that it's time to finish, because if we go deeper, then we will touch other topics that uh, are worth to talk for way longer than 10 minutes, and we will do it complete another episode on that. How do you feel?
Yeah, I feel also complete, and I think it was a beautiful ending with saying we're talking about the power of words in which we can contribute to a new earth. So to take that with us, um,
Mm,
and from this, new topics arose for next time, next podcast. Yeah.
beautiful, but one thing is missing here.
Okay.
Your voice of singing. Could you sing for us something?
Yes, I was actually thinking now. Adi Shakti mantra is nice because it means I bow to the divine and I bow to the creator. So, with a bit of humbleness to the universe, we can end. Yeah, let's get my guitar.
And let's not forget, it's Lily, Tilly, and the universe.
Perfect. Or maybe we should make a theme song for it also.
Hey, we
Next
need
time.
a song for our podcast.
Okay.
Lily, Tilly,
Do you
and
still
the
hear me?
universe.
Oh, wait. One thing changed in my settings. Yes, perfect. Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti Namo Namo. Sirib Shakti, Sirib Shakti, Sirib Shakti Namo Namo. Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati Namo Namo. Kundalini Mata Shakti, Adi Shakti Namo Namo. That is it. I bow to the creator, I bow to the divine within, and I bow,
Beautiful.
thanks, to the overall power. But I have to look up the translation again. Yeah.
Can you change settings? I hear my voice. Or
Oh,
no,
yeah.
now it's okay, but
No, it's because I unplugged my headphones, but I can plug them in again. It was easier with the guitar. Okay.
okay. And it's so beautiful because mm, in Lithuanian language, where I'm coming from, I'm from Lithuania, uh, the word namo means go home. It was so
Oh,
beautiful. Yes, we are
that's very
finishing
cool.
with go home.
Beautiful. That's really cool. Namo.
Mm,
Go home to the source where we came from. Cool.
but you know what? Okay, you're expanding now, but I
Oh,
would. No, 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 it's okay. Like, what does it mean? What? Why do we need to go home where we came from? Maybe it's different perspectives, but I think we don't need to go anywhere. We need to be here just to remember the home where we are coming from. Because we will go home when we will die for sure, but
mm,
that's the reason why we are here. We are here to create, based on that memory, how the home feels like. And I'm
beautiful
done.
words. Yeah. No, I agree. I do say indeed go home, but I think the home is here now or present. But it feels like you're on your way to enlightenment or on your way, at least in my experience, to something. Well, you're so right. It's already here, always. So there's nowhere to go. True. Thank you for
Only
pointing that out.
only back into your heart.
Yeah,
That's where the home is.
nice. And I love
Thank
that to end. Home is where the heart is.
Beautiful. So Matilda, thank you so much for being here today, for having this beautiful discussion. As always, I love connecting with you and diving deeper with you. And God heard my prayers that I wanted something more, something deeper in my life because I found myself living in monotonous routine and boring way of existing, and I was missing that connection because I had one person. Oh, I'm expanding. I had a person that I was diving deep into such topics, and then he left my life, and I was like,
Mm.
okay, I just need somehow to express myself, and now we found even the outlet for doing that. So my
Yeah, I'm.
gratitude to you.
I'm also very thankful that I met you. And indeed, I was a bit going for solitude lately, and let's say I left a lot of friends, old friends. And in this solitude, I thought like, shit, I feel very good, but like maybe it's not the way to go. Maybe I should connect again. But I didn't want to with those old people because they didn't resonate. So then I met you. It was like an amazing sign. See, I just wait for the right people to connect with. I'm not gonna spend my energy to the other things who were more superficial. But with you, you lifted me up and give me energy when I talk instead of draining. So it's yeah, it's perfect. And I'm curious how we will evolve the
Yeah.
wisdom expansion.
Well, only time will show that. So
True.
for now, this is it. And thank you so much, beautiful people who are here, who are still here. And I really appreciate you coming. And I hope you took away something. If you want to share with us what is your biggest takeaway that stood out for you the most, that maybe touched your heart a lot, then feel free now or later. And that's it. See you next Monday. Every single Monday, we will be here from 8 p.m. if technologies will be friendly for us.
Yes.
Then we will be from 8 p.m. So see you next time. We will let you know about the next topic, and that's it. Ciao.
Okay. Goodbye.